Your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you are saying. I just love that as a concept. Because, well, it's the truth. And, it's phrased in 1,001 different phrases, different sayings, different thought processes from, do you walk the walk, not just talk the talk, and different ways of saying it. But it is the truth. The biggest question becomes not what you say you're going to do, not what you say you're about, but what you actually do. And I think that's a lot of it when it comes to, well, health and fitness. And it's part of the reason, and I talk about this all the time, I think it's the greatest segue into everything else you want out of life. Because it just embodies everything else you want out of life. And, well, your physique is the perfect example of that. The body you have, the body you walk around with, put it crudely, how good you look naked, all those kinds of things. You can't fake it. A great physique cannot be bought. It cannot be stolen. You can't cheat your way there. You can't do anything of the sort. You either have one or you don't. And there is nothing in between. And yeah, sure, we could argue semantics on all the differences in between. Like, what's a great physique? And especially in today's day and age when you have truly, truly incredible physiques out there. But if you have a good physique, you have built a good body, and we're not talking a fucking dad bod here, something actually that takes work, it takes commitment, it takes consistency, it takes effort, it takes a long time. And it speaks to your character, it speaks to your values, it speaks to, well, what this truly means to you. And I think more than anything, when shit hits the fan, that's when we find out who you truly are. That's when we discover what you're actually about. And, when we're stressed, when time runs short, when all these kinds of things happen, we find out how truthful those statements really are. Because it's really easy to talk about, how disciplined you are and how hard you work and, how dedicated you are to whether it's your health, your fitness, your business, your relationships, whatever it might be. When things are good. It's really easy to talk a big game when everything's going smoothly. When, as I said, life is good. But when life is stressful, when it hits the fan, when, you're under the pump, that's when you find out, A, who you truly are, and B, where your priorities actually lie. Well, hell, you can even take it further back than just that. I think that's a true statement. But you can look at what people truly value based on what they dedicate time to. So we moved house yesterday. And as you can imagine, when you move house with 2 young children, it's a bit of a shit show. It's been chaotic as hell. We got people everywhere. We got stuff going everywhere. We got movers. We got house inspections. We got all these kinds of things. It's been crazy. And during that time, I still had to work. One of the days, as I mentioned, that I picked up extra work helping an NDIS client. Worked massive days, talking 14-hour days kind of thing. You know what didn't slip? My dedication. You know what still held true? That I was doing the work. I still got my workouts in. I still did that. Because that's one of my biggest values. I still made sure that I had time with my family. Because that's one of my biggest values. You can talk a big game, but when, as I said, when life is at its most chaotic, well, that's when you're going to quickly and very quickly discover what you actually value. Because what you give your time to shows what you truly value. And I think if you actually audited your life, if you actually went around and looked at the things that you give your time, money, effort, energy towards, it would speak volumes to what you truly value. And I don't think it's going to be the things you think it is. I don't think it's going to come back showing the things that you want it to show. And I think this is a big gap for a lot of people. They have this notion around who they are and, how dedicated they are, how much they follow through, how much they do the work, all this kind of stuff. But when you actually break it down, when you actually pull back the wool and have a proper examination of what's going on, you realize that is not actually that truthful. What you value and what you're showing up as are very, very different things. And I think this becomes an important factor of, what you're going to do next. Because you need to determine where your values actually lie. And then you need to continue to do the reps towards that. See, every action, every choice, every decision is, reaffirming your values, reaffirming who you are as a man, reaffirming what you truly value above all else. It continues to solidify these choices, good, bad, or otherwise. And people sometimes think that not making a choice means that they're not doing that. No, not making a choice is still a choice. You made a choice to do nothing. And that will impact the other areas of your life. And this is how character's built. This is how life's built. Where you are right now is a reflection of at least the last 126 days, last 6 months, the last 12 months, potentially more, 4 or 5 years. The choices you make, or have made in the past, are the life that you're now leading. So if you want to lead a different life, you got to start making different choices. But that comes from following through on the actions. Remember, if we're talking neuro, and we're talking about how neurons are wired together, and it comes back to the more you wire them together, the more reps you get in, the more deliberately you choose to make those choices, the more that becomes, part of who you are, part of your DNA, part of how you show up in this life. And those choices, they matter. They matter quite a lot, actually. And they change how you're going to show up in this world. And that's why I think too many people brush off the little actions, the small moments, the things that they feel won't be an impact. And often beyond just the small choices, it's a slippery slope. It's one missed workout. It's one, cheat meal. It's one, drink with the boys. It's one day off. It's one rest. It's one, and then it's two, and then it's three, and then it's I'll get back to it next week, and then I'll get back to it next month. And sooner than you'd ever care to admit, now you're a man that you don't want to be. Now you're in a place with habits, with actions, with thought processes that you don't want to be. And you can talk a big game all you want, but I can't hear the words you're saying because your actions speak so loud. This is why we have to make deliberate, definitive life choices here. It's why we must, choose our actions carefully, because they are going to define every area of your life. Remember, and it's still one of the ones that I love it so much, but people don't want to talk about it, is that everything in your life is all your fault. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But it's also the most liberating day of your life, because when you recognize that your life is all your fault, you also get to gain the benefit of going, well, if it's all my fault, it means it's all my fault. And now I can change it. Now I'm in control. Now I can do what is required. I can do whatever I want. I can take control of this situation and build the life and dreams that I want. I can build the life that I want from the choices I make. But it starts with making the right choices. It starts with making the right decisions. And it's the small ones, not the big ones. It's like I've said before, you can change your entire life with one single decision, in one sweeping moment. You make the decision that you are going to be that man. And your whole life changes from there. From that moment onwards, your whole life is different. But the caveat on that is that you have to keep making that choice over and over and over again. Every single day. In every small moment. In every simple decision. You need to keep making that decision. And it's like I spoke about yesterday. Part of the problem is that you haven't made the decision to become that man. Part of the reason why you continue to fail and continue to revert back to square one is that you didn't make the decision to be that guy. You wanted to change briefly and then return to where you were. This is the definition of insanity. Is wanting to continue doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. No, you have to make the decision that I am willing to do whatever it takes to become the greatest version of me. I'm willing to make whatever choice, and I will become the greatest version of me. Not briefly, but permanently. And I am stepping in to that version of me. I have to end the previous version of me. There is no ifs and buts about it. There is no other way around it. You have to kill off the old version of you so that you can step full heart, full mind into the new version of you. And go, I will not revert back. I am ending this version of me. I am ending this timeline. I am ending how I'm progressing through this. Now you got to step forward into being the greatest version of you. Now you have to, continue to make those choices over and over and over again. Forever. And yeah, that seems daunting. But I often equate it back to like being an alcoholic. Are you going to be sober forever? Who knows? But you can be sober for today. And you just tackle it one day at a time. It's the same with becoming a new version of you. Building a new life, building new habits, building all those kinds of things. Can you guarantee that you'll do that forever? No. No one can. But what you can guarantee is today. What you can guarantee is the actions, the effort, and the intensity that you will give today. And often, that's enough. So, the question becomes, my friend, are you willing to make that first decision? Are you willing to make that first large, gigantic decision that you are going to be the greatest version of you? And then just continue to show up that way. Just continue to show up every single day, no matter what. Day in, day out, being the greatest version of you. If you are, then I've got good news. Comment demanding greatness, and let's begin that journey together. Because it's going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have up and downs, and it's going to take a lot of commitment and follow through. So the best thing you can do is get accountability and support and make that a reality. I cannot wait to see you on the other side.